All right, what is up? Welcome to Spoiler Kings. My name is Hank Kramer. We're Brandon Grizzly, and we're here to talk about the DCU, the official big screen start of the DCU. We're just Superman, David Corenswet, James Gunn directing, Nicholas Hoult, Nathan Fillion, Isabel Merced, a bunch of other people. I don't want to give too much away. But yeah. Edie, how do you pronounce it? Edie?
I think it's Gathigi.
Gathigi?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about our likes, our dislikes, give our ratings at the end, and then if you're watching live after that, we'll get into a lot of the comments, a lot of the Rotten Tomato scores and box office, and a bunch of other stuff because I know we already been talking about it for a while. So, but also one last thing, spoilers, full spoilers. So if you're watching live, if this screen behind us with this little Superman logo is still up, we're talking spoilers. So just FYI. And anybody watching on the replay, full on spoilers. With that being said, Brian, you got a breakdown of what Superman is about.
No. When Superman gets drawn into conflicts at home and abroad, his actions are questioned, giving tech billionaire Lex Luthor the opportunity to get the Man of Steel out of the way for good. Will intrepid reporter Lois Lane and Superman's four-leg companion Crypto be enough to help him before it's too late?
Yeah. The basic right there for you. So we'll start with Brandman. What are some of your likes? What you like about Superman?
Quite a bit actually. That's probably why you saw me with my pen writing stuff. But it establishes the universe right out of the woodwork, which I really liked. But at the same time, it doesn't really like coddle or talk down to you in terms of the origin. I liked how kind of similar to Spider-Man Homecoming or The Batman, it just assumes you as the viewer already know, which I really appreciated. I really liked that it was actually the first live action Superman movie kind of since if I'm being honest, for me personally, ever since the 1978 run that really embraced the comic feel. I think Superman Returns just kind of embraced it was just kind of an imitation of the Reeve movies, and then Man of Steel had like a very specific tone to it. I liked the pacing of this movie. I liked that it kind of functioned as a standalone, all the while kind of like doing subtle world building and references to something bigger, but at the same time, it kind of stood on its own. I liked also that it treated Superman and Clark like a character. I was able to kind of connect with the character, which is something I haven't been able to do with movie versions, also since Christopher Reeve, probably. There were even parts of this that kind of gave me animated series vibes, just from a visual standpoint. That was just me, or I don't know if that was just me. A lot of the performances really were a big reason this movie worked. In particular, David Corenswet playing the title character. Rachel Brosnahan was absolutely great. Nicholas Hoult was great as Lex. Edie Gathigi really stole every scene that he was in. He's an actor that I've always liked. He's always had supporting roles. So to see him in a bigger role with potentially more longevity made me really, really happy because I've always liked him as an actor. And just the overall feel of the movie, I liked that it embraced the whimsical and the kind of heightened reality, I guess I don't know if that's the right word, of a comic book movie. So there was a lot that I liked.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, you, Brian, what's some of your likes?
I think David Corenswet did a good job, especially the way it was written and how they tried to develop the character in that way. I think he did a good job with that. I think they did a good job writing, trying to give the audience nuggets. It didn't start from the beginning, but they still try to give you some information about what's happening previously. Even with some of the words, some of the actions of the other characters, and though it had a lot of different superheroes in it, there were a lot. All of them were focused kind of on Superman, or were doing things because of Superman. Most things were still, focused on him. So I thought that was good. I was worried about overall if there were going to be too many things, too many moving parts in. I don't think that's something that this movie suffered from. I thought that was a good time. Edie Gathegi, I think was really like a standout. I really loved him as Mr. Terrific. I want more Mr. Terrific. I enjoyed him a lot. And like I say, Nicholas Hoult did a really good job. He's probably my third favorite part of this whole thing. So, overall, I enjoyed the ending. Just the ending. I feel like most movies have hard time sticking the landing. I think it did a better job sticking the landing than most movies I've seen recently.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
that's what I got. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then for me, I agree with pretty much everything you guys were saying. But like really, like David Corenswet was the one guy I'm like, you're Superman. Like, how's it gonna feel? And I felt like he really nailed that, like goody two shoes Boy Scout kind of old school kind of Superman vibes, to the point where like he like not even cursing, like when he's Clark, he said a few curse words, no F-bombs or anything, but said a few curse words. But when he was Superman in the suit, he was just like he couldn't curse, like he's like, oh gosh darn it, like legit. I think he actually said gosh darn it in the movie. It's like
I think you're right.
Just that much of a good guy, like he can't even curse, and I think he really really knocked it out of the park as Superman. But yeah, Lex was good. Nathan I was really worried about as Green Lantern, and he did a really good job. Love seeing some of the cameos in there. Like a really good one is William Reeve, which is Christopher Reeve's son, was in it. He was like one of the TV reporters, which was really cool. I really like Jimmy Olsen, and I did not expect anything from that character, and he was like a really fun character that I liked. But yeah, Mr. Terrific was amazing. Mr. as it. Yeah, I just really enjoyed a lot of it, but as like Brian said, as the movie went on and the further you got into it, the more it really like knew what it wanted to be. It was like, if it was just so good by the end, one thing I think I don't see a lot of people talking about, I was kind of worried about Jonathan and Martha Kent, from the trailers. I was like, they're just like, like I was like, they're just like nobodies, really, but it's because they were really like nobodies. They weren't like a Kevin Costner or like a Russell Crowe or whoever was, other father figures of Superman. It was just a dude in the middle of Kansas, like just a regular dude that just loves his son, and it doesn't matter if he's Superman or not. It's just he loves his son, and I was like, damn, man, that
you didn't immediately think Constantine?
What was that?
You didn't immediately think Constantine?
Yeah, he was the priest. Yeah,
the priest. Yeah, and Constantine. Yeah, I forgot about that actually. But yeah, he was really good, and he just kept calling him like, oh, he's mush, like, because like whenever he's around his like son, he's just like worries about him in terms of to like this mushy, which I get, like, so I really enjoyed them just being normal people, and just being good parents. I was like, that's where it was at for me. So but yeah, there's a lot of other goods that we'll talk about, later in another show and stuff like that. But let's get some of the negatives. You have any issues with this one, Brandman?
Some of the camera work got a little tedious, like how it would like kind of like just like rotate around someone, or like when it happened with the action sequences, it worked for me. I thought it was awesome. When like it was just like Clark getting up and walking to another side of the room. They do that when him and Lois are having their interview. It felt kind of awkward at times. I can also see how some people would consider some of the humor to be a little heavy-handed. I think there were times where Gunn kind of could have dialed it back a little bit. But at the same time, I kind of figured that was going to come with the territory with it being a Gunn movie. I think that really those were my only like two really glaring issues with it. I'd have to think on it a little bit. Like I said, I jumped on here like fresh out of the theater. I ran back here and hopped on. But those are the big ones that come to mind at the moment. I have to think on it a little bit more.
Okay. What were you, Brian?
Kind of talked about it the pre-show. For me, I was not sold by the whole first half of the movie. The whole first half of the movie was just, I was like, this is okay. I wasn't sold on any of the comedy. I didn't think the comedy, people around me were laughing. I don't think I laughed, but I like comedy is one of those things where it's specific to you and things that you like.
Super subjective.
So if you don't, like certain things, then but because it was like he was trying to do it over and over again, and I already wasn't liking, I already wasn't laughing. I was like, okay, whatever, that's whatever. But it didn't take me out. But as I said, like the first half of the movie had me worried about. It was a lot of setting up. It was a lot of trying to give us information about stuff. It was a lot of getting beat up. There was a lot of trying to get you to understand that him in the first 3 years, he's not the Superman that you're thinking of, which made sense, but didn't really grab me and make me enjoy the movie astronomically. Like it wasn't like this thing that I thought that was so great. I thought the second half was just a great landing for me. I think there were some characters that they were useless, in there. I really didn't care about, but they're all ancillary characters, so it's not like it's matter that much. I'm not going to worry about it. But overall, I don't have a huge amount of problems with it. I don't think the pacing was bad. The camera stuff was fine. Whatever, it was supposed to look nostalgic. It was supposed to be this feeling like you're looking up. You're seeing this guy who's becoming the Superman. So I didn't have a problem with a lot of that stuff. But I think those are my real big complaints more than anything. I thought the story was fine. And the physics doesn't work. I don't care what you say. It doesn't work.
We're gonna talk about that.
That's it.
Real quick, Maria said, I enjoyed the first half better than the second half. Okay. I do agree more with Brian with the second half being like really, really stand out compared to the first half. But okay. And then Fernando saying this is Superman year 1, pretty much.
But it's not. Yeah.
Year 3.
Year 3.
Year 1 is is known as for like being like early on, kind of Superman. So.
But then 3 years of being Superman, still doing stuff. It's definitely trying to get there, but it just wasn't interesting. Some parts of it just wasn't interesting to me. But definitely not boring. Not boring.
So Hawk Girl didn't do much. I was disappointed. She's one of my disappointed kind of things. Like she was cool. She looked cool, I should say. She was kind of just there. Like a lot of the Daily Planet team were there. Like what was it, Steve? Was there, the sports anchor guy.
Yep.
I think a lot of those people were there just for
Steve was there for comic relief, but it was just like because you saw him like
the 2 scenes he was in. Yeah, it was just
whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. The main ones was Lois, Jimmy, and Perry White. Those were the main players of the Daily Planet team. And I thought all 3 of those were good.
Jimmy was awesome.
Yeah, like I said, that was a really surprise. I was like, okay. Even his gimmick of all these women were just wanted him so bad, and he's just this like 5'6" ginger kid who doesn't want anything to do with women. It's just it was so funny. Yeah. Oh man, it was so funny. But yeah, so some of my negatives, I had two like really glaring ones that kind of like bugged me. There's a character introduced at the end. I don't want to get to full spoiler with that. But there's a character introduced right at the end. I'm talking about like the last like 5 minutes of the movie, and they introduced them and they're drunk. You know, they explain why they're drunk, but and stuff like that. And it just I get it's gonna get explained later in other movies. It's just the introduction. That's the first time we see this person, and I was like, yeah, okay, you know, without yeah, you know, and the character looked cool, all that. It's just the way they were introduced didn't quite sit too well. I just wish they were introduced a little bit better. You know, didn't ruin the movie by any means. And then
minutes, I get ruined them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like yeah. But one that I kind of like was like, you know, it felt very, I don't say forced, but it felt like it was there for the plot. Obviously, was right at the beginning ish. He's fighting the big lizard monster thing, you know, and it was a pretty quick fight, which I'm kind of glad it was, because I know you, Brian, were like worried that was gonna be bad, you know, and it was like super. It was like maybe 5 minutes, if that.
I rolled my eyes at the end, so it wasn't that
long. At the end, he winds up like saving a bunch of people so it doesn't crush them all, right? And then literally like a minute later, this news info comes out that he's like that Lex is like saying like he's here to enslave the world and have his harems, and he wants to be the conqueror and stuff like that. And I was like, he just saved everybody for the past 3 years. He's been saving everybody, you know, like
what has he done? He's just trying to soften you up.
To soften you up. I was like, that's the dumbest thing. And then like afterward, like me and my girlfriend were talking. That's those thing too. It was very real, you know. I was like, oh yeah, I mean,
you don't think other happening in real life have typing monkeys put all the negative stuff on there?
yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. You know, but that's why it felt like I'm like, oh, but then like, you know, afterward, it was like it, you know. It's, you know, you're telling me this rich, powerful person, you know, it can easily persuade a bunch of normal people? What? Like, never. Like, you know, so, you know, it wasn't like the worst thing, but at the time, I was like, it's like, what? You know, and I got it. They had to do that to actually move the story to where it needed to go. So, but again, it didn't ruin the story. It just kind of like, I was like what? Like it just felt very tropey movie kind of vibe to it. But yeah, but one thing I would say, the monkey thing, I was waiting for it to show up, because when we heard about it, we were like, it sounds stupid. When you actually saw it,
it still sounded stupid.
It still sounded stupid, but it didn't. It really didn't matter. But it kind of fit with everything that was going on. Everything else that was going on in that second that they showed the stupid monkeys, like there was like other crazier things happening as well, you know. So
there's no reason for it to be monkeys. He has all these people work for him. He's a super billionaire. There's no reason for it to be monkeys.
I think it could set up other things. It could set up like the Wonder Twins. It can set up Killer Grodd. You know, it could set up like things. You know, or it could just be a one-off. You know,
they all.
My mind kind of did go to Grodd.
Yeah, you know. So
I'm not gonna know about real life, so it doesn't matter what I think about gorilla and monkeys, and that doesn't matter at all. But whatever, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, for the most part, I didn't have like any major issues. Like those were kind of the two that I was kind of like, ugh, you know. But again, like they weren't parts of the movie where I was like, that's it. Like this movie sucks. It doesn't make any sense. It was just okay.
Those 66 seconds didn't kill you.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, if
You
it was
should
58 seconds, I would have been all right.
when you average it out, you say, "Oh, I know I didn't enjoy this, I didn't enjoy that." But is it a main plot in the movie? No.
No, yeah, yeah, exactly. That's kind of how it went. Because like 5 minutes later, I wasn't even thinking about it, so because they were already doing other crazy stuff. All right, so here we do a now, later, never. Now means you gotta go to the theater and see it right now. Later means you can wait till it's at home streaming on HBO Max and stuff like that. And never means just skip it altogether. Brandman, what are you giving Superman, the start of the DCU?
This is an easy now. This is a very easy now for me. I thought that it was a great start to this potential universe. I liked how it was contained while lending itself to the greater universe. I liked how it didn't treat you as the viewer like you were an idiot, which I really appreciated. I thought everyone brought their A game performance wise. Really cool scene stealing performance from Edie Gathegi. I want to see more of him. I'll I'm happy with wherever he shows up. I liked a lot of the action sequences. I liked the overall vibe of the movie, and I liked that I got to connect with Superman as a character on the big screen for the first time in a long time. It makes me excited to see more of him. I thought David Corenswet did a great job, as did everyone. So I was really happy with it. Already making plans to go again, and I might even go more after that. So yeah, this is very easily an out for me.
Okay. Well, you, Brian, what are you giving it?
I'm not head over heels in love with it, but this was definitely a good time. So now I don't even know how you can go. You have to hate everything about the movie to say later, because was an experience. People were enjoying it. People were talking, laughing. We were, I wasn't laughing, but people were enjoying it around. So it was an experience no matter what in the theater. Yeah, as I said, I have issues with it, but I have this as a definite now. Like you, to the point where I already talked to my wife. We're probably gonna go see it again on Sunday. And then I will definitely have more of a definite understanding of what I liked and didn't like. But a movie like this that makes you want to go see it another time tells you enough about it right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this now, I wouldn't go see it twice if it wasn't a now. so
That's true. Go watch it again just to be more angry at it.
Yeah, I want to shake my fist at it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and I'm there now as well. It was so good. Like, and I went in, I know like Brian is too, I went in just like, oh, please be good. Like, had my fingers crossed. I'm like, please be good, And yeah, by the end of the movie, it was just like very hopeful, like it's just like I'm hopeful for what the DCU can be. I'm interested in Supergirl. I'm interested to see when we get Batman, like how is Batman going to fit into this stuff. The Lanterns I'm more interested in now, because of Guy Gardner and his vows and stuff
and me
like that.
not hating him. I really thought I was gonna hate him.
Same. I mean, I hate Guy Gardner. He's just a dickhead. And he played Guy Gardner really well, I gotta admit. But yeah, it's just I saw what they were going for at the end, by the end of this movie, where the goodness of Superman is infectious, especially to other heroes. And I want to see how that kind of plays out in this new universe. So yeah, this is definitely a now for me.
Mr. Terrific was gonna be terrific no matter what.
Oh yeah, he was he was really good, man. Just the way he talked, the way like the badass of just him like being a badass,
But you coming in just sitting there like, yeah, I got this. Let's go.
Oh, the part is like, oh, I can help you. He's like, I don't need your damn help.
Exactly.
That was so.
I'm a terrific. I don't need your damn help. What's wrong with you?
Right.
Oh, that was great. Yeah. Yeah. He's just like, he was great. But yeah, this is just a really fun movie. Highly recommend it. So we'll end that part of our review here. If you're watching our replay, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Come and join us for other fun movie reviews like this. We're gonna be talking about Superman again on Saturday live, so if you want to come in and join that, and we're gonna do other movies, Fantastic Four, so make sure you come and join us. If you are in the live chat, we want you guys to stick around because we're gonna get into more of your comments. We're gonna get into Rotten Tomatoes, we're gonna get into box office and other fun Superman stuff. But we appreciate everyone coming in, hanging out with us. But let's move on to the live chat right now.